The ICF Canoe Sprint World Championships are brought to you by the Province of Ontario, the Government of Canada, and Tourism Niagara.
World champion. And the first heat of the C1 Junior Men 1,000 meter is beginning to line up. In lane 1, we have
the Indian paddler Kumar Shah, and in lane number 2, Craig Spence from Canada, and lane number 3 from Azerbaijan, Oleski Kupin, lane 4 from Belarus, Dmitry Zubku, lane number 5, Hungary's Christoph Kot, and Mexico's Elias Gonzalez, in lane 6, lane 7, Poland's Marshall Holdak, and lane number 8, China's Zhang Jingda, and lane number 9, Moldova's Binzaru Dragos. But keep your eye on lane number 2, the Canadian Craig Spence.
Yep. As I was looking through this race, we are missing lane 3 from Azerbaijan. Sometimes this happens. It could either be he's just late and off screen, but we see the officials are flying the white flag, which means it's good to go. So we are an athlete down, and they will start -1 athlete from Azerbaijan.
Oh, and a great shot of Craig Spence we've got right here in lane 2. This kid means business. I saw him at the trials. He can motor.
Look at the design of his boat as well. I mean, Nello has really amped up the boat design here, and I believe that's one of Richard Dalton's special boats.
Well, lane number 2, Craig Spence, keep your eye on him, but Hungary's Christoph Kot. I saw a picture of him in the local newspaper yesterday. Very fit, very tall. But Craig Spence will know how to paddle this boat.
Yeah, and on the start, you notice the canoers keep their paddles up a little bit longer than the kayakers. They need to get in that position. It's critical in a canoe to blast off the line, but you have to keep the boat smooth. What's a lot harder to do in a C1 rather than a K1 is to keep the boat smooth. Right now, off the start, there's going to be a bit of bounce like we see, and then the boat you have to find that rhythm, find that transfer of power so the boat just glides over the water.
Absolutely, and the men's C1000 meters has been Canada's most lucrative event here at the World Junior Championships. 8 medals coming out of this race, 5 of them gold, including 1 by my colleague here, Tom Hall.
Yep. And this is a stacked heat. Doing my research for this, I was impressed looking through here. The Hungarian was second at the Junior European Championships with a 3:58. That is not a slow time. I alluded earlier to the fact that the 4 minutes in the canoe for a young athlete is a bit like everyone's personal 4-minute mile. As soon as you can get to that mark and break it, you know you're fast and you know you're up there. So the fact that the Hungarian broke that with a second place at the Junior European Championships means he'll definitely be strong. So it's a great opportunity for Craig to test himself against some of the world's best athletes. And again, it's all about figuring out where you're going to fit in those semifinals.
And look at this paddler right now in lane number 4 from Belarus, Dmitry Zubku, who's really got a good stroke rate going on. They're about 62 strokes a minute now. And here comes the Hungarian Christoph Kot in lane 5, very strong paddler.
Yeah, you'll notice now they'll reach it out. The canoers it's going to be a slower stroke rate. Obviously, there's one blade, so they'll have about half the stroke rate or maybe 60% of the rate of the kayakers. And in this wind with the canoes, it's so critical that you find a nice solid rhythm like we see the Hungarian paddling with here.
Again, Tom, the first goes directly to the A final, 2 through 7 to the semis. I like where Craig's sitting right now. He looks to be in control of a semifinal berth, but this Hungarian Christoph Kot, no wonder he was in the paper with the Hungarian team. This kid is for real. Look at him power through the 500.
And now we're just through the 500 meter. The Hungarian is nice and safe and in front. Belarus in second and Poland in 7. And there's a great shot of the Hungarian paddler. This is a nice relaxed stroke. He's got a big hard catch, typical Hungarian catch, but his boat is smooth and that's critical.
And right now they're into about the 400 meter mark, and it's the Hungarian in lane number 5 really throwing things down. Following close is the Belarusian Dmitry Zubku.
Yeah, and it looks as if the wind has actually switched directions about 180 degrees, and looking at the flags right in front of us here, it looks like a tailwind, so it's actually going to change how these races play out quite a bit. The smaller, lighter athletes are going to enjoy that wind, pushing them down the course. The bigger athletes will as well, but there's less of an advantage for them like there would be in a headwind.
And there's a nice shot of lane 2, Craig Spence, and to his left is the Indian paddler, Kumar Shah, who's not far off the pace. Very nice job to see India fielding a quality team here at these World Junior Championships. But here goes the Hungarian, Christoph Kot, and the Polish athlete in lane number 7, Marcel Holdak, is having a nice finish as well.
What we saw in the last few races, particularly the junior men's K1000, was that it was top 6 go to the semifinals. Whereas in this race, first actually gets to go directly to the final. So this Hungarian clearly wants to go directly to the final. Just through the 200-meter mark, he's got a boat on lane 4, and then in third is lane 7.
And look at this. Look at this athlete, lane number 9, Tom, going for a finishing kick. Moldova's Binzaru Dragos. Somewhat of an unheard of paddler, but look at him really starting to turn it on. Looks like he's challenging for second.
Another view of that Hungarian. Nice long strokes. He's got the wind locked up here. Pretty solid. Last 100 meters, it's the Hungarian, a boat over lane 4, Belarus. Behind him, lane 7, Poland. And lane 9 from Moldova. Look at this, lane 9 Moldova. He was 8th in the C2 500 meters at European Championships, but he is fighting here for that 3rd spot.
And here we go with the Hungarian, Tom, crossing the line first, Christoph Kott. Followed very nicely in lane number 4 by the Belarusian Dmitry Zubko. And look at that from Moldova, Binzaru Dragos. And lane 7, Poland's Marcel Holdak. With lane number 6, Mexico's Ilya Gonzalez. And here comes Craig Spence, knowing what he's doing to getting through to the semifinals.
Well, that is one of the best plans I've ever heard. Everyone wants to be first. Here are the results, a 4:08. That's a solid time, you know. It's a solid time in men's canoe. Here, the water's a little cold. That makes a difference.
And very nice to see India going on to the semifinals. Kumar Shah just behind Craig Spence from Canada. 4:26.409 for Spence. Not a bad time.
No, that's not a bad time at all. I mean, it's again, this first race is really just getting those nerves out, getting relaxed. You get used to the water.